Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Chantel Green and I'm going to be discussing Google My Business, interpreting metrics at scale. If this is your first time joining one of our webinars, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join me for this discussion. Here at Rio, we host webinars on a monthly basis with varying industry leaders, so make sure you're checking out our events and webinar section of our website often to see what topics we're going to cover next. I always get so much out of these webinars, and I know that y'all will too. I have just a few housekeeping items that I want to go over while we still have a bunch of attendees dialing in. First of all, due to the size of the audience, we are going to keep all of the attendees on mute. If you have questions throughout the webinar, don't worry, we will definitely answer them, but please send them over via the question box on the Zoom control panel. I want to be respectful of all of your time. I know that y'all are all super busy, so I'm not going to be answering questions live on the webinar, but I will have our team follow up with you via email after the fact. Or you can tweet us with any questions, comments, concerns at Rio_SEO. We'll definitely have someone on there to answer any questions you may have and go over any of the content with you. Lastly, we're going to be sending out a recording of today's content within 24 hours. Look for an email from our amazing marketing team. Shout out to the marketing team. They are awesome at making sure that y'all get all the information and content that you need. Now, let me quickly introduce myself. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Chantel Green. I am an account director at Rio SEO. Prior to working for Rio, most of my experience was in digital marketing with a strong focus in SEO. While I've definitely spent time on the brand side of things, I have a unique understanding of what my clients need from the brand side, what you need to report back to your brand stakeholders and things of that nature. So with the brand experience that I do have, I get to now focus on guiding my clients in achieving your local marketing goals and winning in local. And I absolutely love it. Best part of the job. So today we are going to primarily focus on how you interpret those Google My Business metrics. If you're on today's call, I know you've invested ample time in optimizing those Google My Business listings and strategizing your local search marketing initiatives. But you're probably interested in learning how you can interpret this data at scale, especially if you're a multi-location brand. I definitely know how daunting this can be as a brand to report upon metrics across all locations, which is why I'm here today to help. After today's webinar, you'll definitely have a deeper understanding of your customer's journey, how you can boost those metrics that matter, how you can analyze those metrics for multi-locations in varying regions, and how you can go above and beyond in local SEO. I'm really excited to dive in, so let's get started. So 75% of people near you are using a search engine to find your business online. So those are your customers searching for things that you want to show up for. And 93% of the global search engine market share is with Google. So today we're just going to focus on Google. Consumers find your brand in two different ways, right? You have direct, which are branded searches, and discovery, which is non-branded searches. Direct is the number of customers who are finding your listing when searching for your business name or address. So I get a lot of questions from clients on the difference between these two, and this is a big, big point. Discovery is the number of customers who find a listing when searching more generically for a category, product, or service. So they're searching for what you have to offer, and our job as local SEO experts is to make sure that you're showing up. We have a great example over here on the right side of the screen. You can see top rated burgers near me, In-N-Out showing up, and this is a discovery search, or you have In-N-Out near me, which is a branded search. So where are they searching for you, right? They're searching for you in Google Maps. Now this could be on desktop, but most likely people are sitting on their phone, opening up Google Maps, and they're searching for places either to eat, products they need, or service they need. They might search best movers near me, or best sushi near me, or top rated burgers near me. They're doing this on the map now. It's becoming more and more, trending more towards searchers searching on the maps and not actually searching in the search engine, but people are still searching on the search engines as well. So they're going into Google and typing things like a branded search or a discovery search. Now, what are they doing once they find your listing? This is an important piece of the puzzle that we want to analyze, right? Oops, sorry. Total actions, click to website. So they're either clicking through on that listing and getting to your website, they're clicking to call, or they're clicking directions and their map app is opening up, mostly Google Maps. So our job, of course, in local search is to make sure that when those potential customers are searching, your listing is showing up there because we want them to take these actions, right? All of which can end in a sale, and it can be different depending on which industry you're in, on which is most important to you. If you don't have a solid platform in place for all of this, it can definitely be difficult to assess how well these local marketing efforts are performing, and most importantly, if you're reaching those target customers. You need to know how to boost the metrics that matter by identifying the trends in these data and implementing a strategy based on those findings. Now, moving on to the ranking signals. I get this question a lot from my clients. It's, okay, so what matters, Chantel? You're telling us that we need to show up in local SEO, but how is Google determining if we show up or not? So, great question, of course. Today I'm going to go over the top 3. But we will be sending out a recording of this and you can review all of the signals on your own if you'd like. So the number 1 is Google My Business signals. This is 25% of how Google ranks you. So this is proximity. So how close those target customers are to your business, what categories you choose for your business. And this is an important part of implementing a local search strategy, choosing the right categories. And we'll talk a little bit more about this further on into the webinar. But it is important to choose the right categories. If you have things like your keyword in your business title and other parts of the Google My Business listing. So that's 25%. Link signals. So this is the link from the listing to your website. It's inbound anchor text, linking domain authority, and linking domain quantity. That takes up about 16.5% of how Google ranks you. And last in the top 3 is review signals. So a lot of people think it has to be, oh, I need a 5-star rating to be able to rank. And that's not true. It's quantity of reviews, the review velocity, the review diversity. A lot of things go into that 15.44%. And then the rest of them. All right, so the pillars of listing optimization. So these are the things that when you implement a local search strategy, you want to make sure you have. This is what makes a quality listing. The first is accurate data. So you want your name, address, and phone number to be correct. You want to have a local phone number. You want to make sure the name of your business is correct. And you want to make sure the address is correct as well. We are always going to recommend high quality videos and photos. That's definitely going to help you break through and rank in local. As I discussed earlier, you're going to want to make sure that you're choosing the right category for your business. Often this can be a make or break point. We choose a category and it can send you over the edge and really elevate your local listing. Search optimized description, making sure that your business description is accurate, it has keywords in it, and it's what your customers want to see. And then holiday hours when applicable. This is important because the last thing you want is for a customer to land on your listing and it to say, hours may vary due to Labor Day. We want to make sure that your holiday hours are implemented. Even if you're open, we want to mark them as holiday hours so that customers don't have to question your open and close of business times, right? And then you want to make sure that you have the accurate map pin. This is important because when customers are trying to get to your business, whether they could be on foot, right? They could also be traveling by car. They want to open up and zoom in on that map app. I know you've all done it. I certainly have. It's important that that map pin is in the right place for your business. Moving along. So that's all good. How can you scale this for local SEO? So it's important that you have an account strategist because you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of these marketing initiatives. You want to make sure you have someone who's deep into this data every day, who looks at it and can really assess if one thing is working, if something's not, and suggest how you can move forward with the best strategy. So you really want to optimize these listings, manage reviews at scale, and account strategists can help you do that. This is someone that's an extension of your team, can help you educate on the local level and make sure that you have the tools needed to elevate that local SEO strategy. As I discussed, you can enable local stakeholders through assigning user permissions and granting access. This is a screenshot of our platform, and you can really assign each location to a specific person. So a use case for this would be if you have a regional manager who is maybe over 10 of your 1,000 locations. We can actually give him a user role and assign him those locations only. So when he logs into his dashboard, he just sees a snapshot of how his region is performing, while the brand at the admin level can see a holistic view of all locations. This is really important because it helps you narrow down trends across locations, regions, and if you are a franchise business, even franchisees, can really help you measure and impact the value of the local SEO program. So it's important to monitor those KPIs that you set early on in your local strategy. Say things are on the up and up, you've implemented your local strategy, your data has been going up for a couple of months, but then you start to notice kind of a plateau in your performance. What do you do then? Well, there are a few questions that you want to ask yourself when that happens. I always ask my clients, okay, does this align with what's going on in your business? And oftentimes they'll say, absolutely. You know, we had a soft January, and this is what we're seeing on the business side of things, not just in search, but in our business as well. Maybe sales are soft, etc. There's also seasonality that can influence the change in this data, right? So if you're a client who is maybe a retailer and you have a holiday season that really ramps up, you might see some fluctuation between, say, December and then having a really, really soft January. So seasonality can affect that as well. And then you want to ask yourself, are you seeing the same trend with in-store traffic? I know a lot of you on here have in-store traffic counters, and really the data should align. If it's not, then we move on to the next step. But those are important questions to ask before you start going in and trying to optimize data. So we've talked about the pillars of a good local SEO strategy and Google My Business listings. Now, how do you go above and beyond that? What do you do when we talk, like we talked about before, that data plateaus? There's a few things, right? You can start with your local A/B testing. You can do things like adding different photos. You can manipulate the Google My Business descriptions. You can change the categories. You can do things like that to implement local A/B testing. We'll want to add departments for additional visibility. Like I said earlier, you can change GMB descriptions. You can add products, menus, or services. You could implement a Google Post pilot. This is a great thing that a lot of our clients have been doing lately. You can do events, offers, or promotions. I have a client who, when they have a grand opening, they'll do a Google post with the event and say, hey, we're open here, come see us. And that's a great way to utilize posts, but you could also say you have a 20% off, like you see over here, 20% off desserts. You could use a Google Post pilot to, promote that. Another important thing is to engage with customers on Q&A. A lot like reputation management, this really allows you to take control of how your brand is being portrayed on the internet, which is important. When people are asking these questions, having the brand answer is a huge deal. You don't want other people coming in and answering those questions for you. You want to have the authority over your brand, which takes us into reputation management, responding to reviews, managing those reviews, making sure that everything aligns on that front is really important, and we'll go into that further on. So we talked about local A/B testing. One thing that I do want to mention is I would never recommend that a client starts their local search strategy with A/B testing. I think it's important that you have a good local foundation. That means making sure those pillars of a Google My Business listing are implemented. But say the data plateaus, as we discussed earlier, what do? You should utilize it when there's anomalies in data and when you're trying to influence a new optimization technique. So after you've had time to analyze that performance. Here's a really good example of what you could do in an A/B test. And we help our clients with this all the time. This is an art center, and you could change the category. You could keep a control as art center, but you could maybe manipulate it to art school. Now this would be a really easy Google My Business test, and it would give us a good foundation to start looking at the metrics. Now, of course, this is just one example. There are a variety of things that we can test, but this is definitely something that you can start doing if you see that data plateau. Next, going into reputation management strategy, 64% of people are going to check Google reviews before visiting a business. I do this all the time. I am sure that y'all do too. So I'll search for a business. I'll make sure there's no red flags, like a lot of one-star reviews. I will make sure that everything's on the up and up before I go visit that business or before I even call for a quote from a service area business. I will check those Google reviews. So when you own your reputation management strategy, you really become that voice of authority for your brand. You get to take control over what's going on with those reviews on your listing. You know, I'm sure that many of you have come across some fake reviews or some incorrect reviews. Being able to respond to those at scale is really important. You're also able to encourage reviews. So maybe you have a sign at your brick and mortar that says, hey, review us on Google. That's really important as well. Finding a reputation management partner to control that influx and really understand those analytics behind it can benefit you in a huge way. Having a platform where you can actually assign those reviews to specific team members, to specific teams, can really help with that communication as well. So it's important that you have a strong reputation management partner who understands the industry and who has the platform to back it up. Now, it doesn't just end with GMB. Sales, customer service, and even operations can use the data from local campaigns to influence the rest of the business. It's really a rich source of data, and the feedback from customers can impact every area of your business. It's important to find creative ways to communicate this across departments and to make decision makers aware of how they can use this data at every level. A company-wide newsletter is a really good example of this. You could create a company-wide communication and ask every department to submit their wins weekly. And you could lead with your local wins, but then everyone is invested in sharing and curating the info. So marketing is breaking down silos and driving digital transformation across organizations. So we really have this source of rich customer insight, and we can understand how it translates to other areas of the business like PPC and ad spend, understanding search queries, developing FAQs from the question and answer section, cross-departmental communication. Having a good platform can really help with that cross-departmental communication, because I have a lot of clients who, with reviews, for example, are like, who manages this? Is it a customer care thing? Is it a marketing thing? Having a good platform in place can really help with that communication and really unblur any lines. And also just the rich amount of consumer insights that you can get from this local data is important to the business. You can understand how it can impact across the entire business and really help influence different initiatives. All right, we are right at 20 minutes, y'all, and that is all the time we have today. Thank you so much for everyone who was able to join us today. I do see that quite a few of you submitted questions during the webinar, and do not worry, we will definitely get to you via email. As we mentioned earlier, we have a ton of digital content that's always expanding on our website. So if you just navigate to the resources section of our website, you'll be able to find all of that. We also encourage you, as always, to interact with us on social media. You can tweet us at Rio_SEO. I hope you have a great weekend. Feel free to reach out to me or your account director if you have any additional questions as well. Thank you so much for participating in today's discussion, and I hope I get to see you on the next webinar. Have a great day, everybody.